Hello and welcome back. Sorry for the short delay. We've managed to get both teams in. So this is going to be Paradox InsomniaX versus Team The. So what a name there. But this is the seed two and seed three, seed two versus the seed three from the Kestrel region so far. And every kind of close game like this, it's been a very long game. They're very close matches, and I think we can expect the same for this matchup as well. So Paul, who is here with me, Denier, sorry, what do you think? What can we expect?
Hey guys, I'm back for this final game of the day. Obviously, we can expect big things from such high seeds. It's 2 and 3, obviously, both very deserving of the places they're in. In the round of 16, this is where you start losing the big teams. Both of these both of these teams probably expected to be here. This is probably their minimum requirement for how they want to do this tournament. Getting to the quarterfinals is such a big step to go from here, though. So we're going to have to pull out all the stops and see the best of the best from these players.
Yes, and remember that the winner of the Tesseract Qualifier series will be going to the VIPL. That's going to be a massive, it's going to be so prestigious being up there on the stage with the whole world watching. So they are going to be fighting for that position.
Do you want one thing I want to point out before we go into the next one? I really enjoyed the "oops, sorry" name in the last game because it sounded like every time you made a call, it was wrong. You're like, "Oops, sorry, he's actually gone in on on Kestrel."
Yes, I wasn't saying that myself. I really like the name. I think I didn't get to go through because I'll never get to say it again.
Oops, sorry.
Oops, sorry. So it looks like we're seeing that Fortress pick coming out straight away from Paradox Insomnia. So do you think this will be a Crystal Fortress that we will be seeing?
Well, that's the beauty of having the first bit. You can go flex, and it means you can pick like a roamer or a pick who can go anywhere, like Adagio, Glaive. Glaive can be very strong in the lane, in the jungle. Can even be roamer sometimes, not often seen in tournaments, but it leaves you open to counter pick the enemy's double that comes next. Obviously, they're going to be playing him Crystal, going by the fact that they've gone for the Catherine next. So all we have to do is wait for the laner choice here. And considering that there's already a Ringo on the side of Team then I was about to say I wouldn't expect a Vox unless it's weapon. So we might be seeing a weapon Vox coming out here.
Yeah, we kind of see Vox is kind of struggling a little bit against Ringos, especially in the very early. It was very easy for Ringo to poke a Vox down.
Yeah, it is. You can obviously bully a Vox out of lane so much easier, but Weapon Vox, he doesn't take as long to ramp up, so we can hope to see him sustain a little bit better than some of the other Vox versus Ringo matchups we've seen so far.
So Koshka, Ringo, Arden. How do you think this will go against Vox, Fortress, and Catherine?
Well, Arden's definitely the best choice in with that. It means Koshka can dive as much as she wants. The gauntlet can be there to either initiate or protect, especially with the wolves being such a threat. They can isolate Fortress or use it defensively to try and deal with the wolves before they start a proper fight. But they do have to also deal with the problem of double silence. If they could chain the 2 silences with a stun from Catherine and the attack of the pack from Fortress, that's going to be an immense amount of damage and at the start of any team fight.
You know what you were saying about names before? Well, I'd love Fish the Cat.
You just love anything with cat.
Yeah, I do. It's true. Fish the Cat's my favorite. So it looks like they're skipping this double back camps. Why do you think this is? They're just going straight for the healing minion.
Well, the healing minions do give the most XP now, so they're hopefully still going to get Fortress up to level 2 here from the 3 camps they are targeting. They are going to be behind in gold. I don't think Fish the Cat is going to be able to get a second item, though. It looks like they've been caught up to by Team The. I need to think of an easier way to say this.
I just call them the.
Yeah, I might just call them the red team from now on.
Team The is a bit too much of a mouthful. So it looks like Arden and Koshka are going to be invading at this point. Fish the Cat hasn't been to the shop yet. Koshka's already got those 2 crystal bits. She's got a bit of an advantage, to be honest.
Yeah, even skipping those camps, they couldn't hold off this Koshka. And now they're going to be rewarded by having both back camps to steal. But Koshka is incredibly low. Looks like the bite from Fortress is going to finish her off. Arden could finish this kill if he wanted to.
Well,
but he's going to have to back off.
I don't know how much you saw from that last game between Infamous and InsomniaX. Did you see much?
Arden carry.
I
know. I was sitting in the back watching, but wow.
Him finishing off Ringo and Catherine. So I would love if we saw something like this again.
I don't think he's going to build quite as offensively, though, but it just showed how powerful Arden can be.
Yes, his Blood for Blood does a lot of damage. I think it's surprisingly more than people will expect. So he's definitely going to be a major key player in this game.
Definitely. Fortress will counter him very, very well with the chunks of health damage. Obviously, Arden's weakness is burst of damage rather than small sustained amounts. But with Koshka on the other side, Koshka against Fortress seems to be the common jungle matchup right now when they're not banned out. I'd say there's no real contender for who is the best right now. It just depends on the player skill more than anything. Both are very, very strong. It just depends how you play around them. Koshka has more potential to dive and be punished less for it, I'd say, but Fortress's enemy team deletion potential is just so much more.
Look at that vision being laid down by the. I think I'm just gonna call them the red team. This is getting a little bit too difficult.
We'll need to check with them after whether it's like is it an acronym?
We call them the team.
The team.
And Fish jumping in, finishing that Ringo kill. I think that's the beauty of Fortress. You know, he's so mobile, and he's got these incredible gap closers.
Yeah, definitely. It's like having a crystal black feather kind of such massive burst.
So, gosh, got a little bit on her own there. A 1v2 situation. I think they should be able to finish her off the whole time.
It looks like Arden's been in the enemy jungle the whole time, though. I'm not sure whether he's been stealing the camps. Didn't get the camera over there to check, but Koshka is trying to keep a hold of her jungle right now. I think Ringo picked that one up there, actually, in the end. Arden, meanwhile, farming alone. He's on 4 CS right now. I'm not sure if... is it Insomnia? I'm not sure if Insomnia know about that.
Yes, well, he's certainly going to be caught out now as we see Fortress jumping for him. Not doing a decent amount of damage there. You know, Rio's just now sitting about half health.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really going to get away because there's no one coming to help him either. So he's just been handing over a free kill. I mean, he's going under the turret for this as well. But Catherine's going to be the one getting the kill. Oh, no, she's not. It's Fortress. I'm so confused now. Oh, that's probably why. I thought because Catherine hit him before the turret, then she would have had it.
So the farm came back just in time. It took Arden that long to get to all. So, you know, they are still would get some of their farm back in time. So we're seeing Koshka kind of sitting there in that lane bush, but there was a mine there the whole time, so Bob is just going to be a little bit more cautious around him.
There's Ringo and Koshka dealing immense amounts of damage. Ringo is quite low right now. They're stepping on a scout trap, which was placed bang in the middle of the map there. So far, it's not really any advantage going to either team right now. With Vox managing to farm up pretty well against Ringo, I'd say that Insomnia are doing better with their comp right now.
Yes, and you know, especially once Fortress gets those wolves out, can you imagine the power spec they will have at that point?
Yeah, definitely. And he's level 5, so it's coming very, very soon. Him and Koshka both sitting on level 5, and Vox. So it looks like Ringo's one behind, but he does have a wave right now. So he's catching up as well. Still not sure whether Ringo is going to be going for attention, but we haven't seen that very often now. He's got the items to go for it. Swordblade. It looks like Koshka's the one stunned by Catherine right now.
Yeah, Bob's taking a lot of damage, and he is actually the first to go down, but Ringo, you know, Fish the Cat is trying his best to get a kill on Ringo. He manages it, but this does leave Theory against Koshka and Arden, and she's going to go stand on that minion mine just to try and get some damage in, but it's not going to be enough.
But she pops her bubble while standing on top of the gold mine, so aggroes it onto herself, which is the worst decision imaginable.
She'd done it quite cleverly. She could have aggroed them onto the Koshka and Arden, but didn't quite manage to pull it off there.
Well, that's what I thought she was trying to do. I thought she was trying to lead them onto it, make them hit the gold miner by accident, but instead she pops her bubble and takes the aggro herself.
It's not the best idea.
Faster kill going over to the red team.
Yeah, we also saw when Ringo had the kind of chance just to hit Vox, how much damage she was dealing. You know, that is how Vox went down so fast.
Yep, Ringo, on the other hand, though, he also took a large chunk of damage when Fortress decided to go for him. Fortress had a little bit of Fish had a little bit of a split focus just there. Do you know what? I'm just so confused. It's Fish, Cat on a wolf.
This is the most confusing animal hybrid I've ever seen in my life.
Fish, Cat, wolf.
No, it's Fish the Cat.
It's a Fish, Cat, wolf.
It's cat called Fish, basically, on a wolf. So, all joking aside, you know, I think they're, like you said, I think they are doing quite well. So it does look like Team The are doing a little bit better, you know, in terms of gold, but that's only like 500 gold difference.
Vox does have the wave ready. There it is, and the attack of the pack comes out. Rios is the first one to go down, and Koshka having to run away as well. It looks like Ringo is going to escape after the end of that, but all 3 members of Insomnia are still up.
Yeah, and there's 2 wolves left. You know, Ringo hasn't had trying to do his best to destroy them, but who is better than getting rid of those wolves than Ringo?
Yeah, I definitely think if you're going to give away Fortress, you have to have something like Ringo either banned or on your own team. You couldn't give Ringo away with Fortress. The bleed stacks would just be detonated far too fast with his inbuilt attack speed.
Yeah, there's 205 gold there going towards Insomnia, just giving them the gold lead now. So it's still quite even though. It's still around 400 gold between the teams. I think it's difficult to say actually.
Very difficult call, but definitely the red team have got some points on the board, 3 kills, 2-6, and they do actually have a small gold lead right now. Like I said, I can't call it for now. The red side do have a slightly earlier comp, but with Vox going weapon against the Ringo also going weapon, then it's really up to team play and positioning right now.
Yeah, there's one thing I'm a little bit confused by, and it's the supports. None of them has a tier 3 item yet, and I'd have expected a fountain from one of them by now.
That deletion on the Vox, wow! Oh my gosh, he just face checked the bush and paid the price for it. Did you see that?
I saw that. Well, I didn't see anything. He just died that fast. So the stun landing onto Arden there, but I don't think really Fortress can do that much against a Ringo and a Koshka. He's very much a team player. Like he has to have all 3 members of his team there, otherwise he doesn't do that well. This is just my opinion.
He's definitely very, very strong right now. The synergies aren't like you don't need synergy with him. That's the problem. He can work in with any team comp right now. A little bit too strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see him toned down very soon in the next patch or 2. But it's same as when Kestrel's very strong. There are teams who are realizing what the counter strategy is around that. And what we're seeing here is that Koshka seems to be doing very, very well. Koshka has been I'd say she's been more controlling of the jungle than Fortress has been. You've seen more invades from the red team than you have from blue. And it looks like Rios might be a little bit caught right now. Here comes attack. They're going to turn the focus onto Koshka, who's going down incredibly fast. Here comes the Hellfire Brute onto Vivov. And he's going to go down. Oh, but your potion pop manages to keep him alive. Yeah. Just long enough to get the ace buff as well.
And that is going to be the ace on all 3 wolves. Nobody was able to do them. And they're just, the whole time, they're just dealing those stacks onto the enemy team there. And that's going to be another gold mine going towards Insomnia. While Vob, I think he's going to be pushing for that tower. And I'm not sure if they're going to get down in time.
I'm just so incredulous that Vivov managed to live through that one. He was so low, and the Ringo Hellfire Brew was really well timed to try and get him out of the fight before Ringo even joined. Ringo would have had a really easy time dealing with only the Fortress left after that.
Yeah, and that gold difference is now increasing down to 2.5k. So it's
a big swing, definitely. We're starting to see the scales tipping in the favor of Insomnia.
So you were saying earlier there are counters to this Fortress strategy. Do you want to tell everybody what this is?
So the one thing you've got to really watch out for is don't engage when he has his wolves. You want to try and bait the wolves out, kill them, and then engage after that when you don't have a bleed on you anymore. So if you can get something like Arden is a very good counter, because if in the most desperate situation you can gauntlet, deal with the wolves, and if there's one person trapped inside your gauntlet, probably the best bet, then you can deal with that person as a 3 versus 1 scenario. Otherwise, if you just back off, kill the wolves, and then re-engage, like I said, Arden again, he has the gauntlet. They've got the Yummy Kennett Frenzy, and with Ringo, they only need to disengage for a few seconds for him to deal with those wolves. A Warhorn, great item to pick up as well, either to disengage or re-engage afterwards.
Yeah, Fortress with that fountain already before the Catherine.
Wow, Catherine's really struggling for gold right now, it would seem.
I'm confused by the supports. This is 10 minutes now. They're the supports of a tier 3 item. I went about this before that team fight broke up, and I'm just a little bit confused about where all that money is going towards.
Well, maybe they're prioritizing Vision. There are a lot of scout traps down. Here comes Arden with the gauntlet, but very, very far ahead from his team. Silence does a big chunk of damage onto Koshka.
Yes, and we're seeing them the Yummy Kennett Frenzy knocking out Vob as they try and finish down Ringo, and this could be actually the ace for them as they try and chase down that Arden, but it doesn't look like Fish the Cat wants to be taking that turret damage, and look at him finishing off those wolves very quickly.
I think a little bit helping the turret there. He did have all 3 wolves on him, which was dealing a heck of a lot of damage. He had to deal with them then and there, but that's why Ringo went down so fast. He had the wolf on top of him, didn't deal with it, and they just tried to initiate that fight with the wolves open.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Fish the Cat didn't try and finish off the kill there on Rios. It'd been very quick for him, so I'm a bit sure why surprised why he turned back. Probably just because he knew that the Ringo and Koshka were coming out.
Yep, definitely. Glad you corrected yourself on that one. It would have been very, very dangerous to try and secure it there, especially with Arden, who is visually... it can be confusing to see him low health, but he's actually much tankier than it would seem.
Yeah, and looks like we could be seeing another team fight breaking out soon. Fish the Cat has sitting on a lot of gold, 1,500 that he's now desperately trying to pick up items on, and we're seeing all the infusions coming out.
Yep, respectively, crystal and weapon infusions for Fortress and Vox. And Koshka is going to get caught right now. I don't understand why she's face checking the bush. There comes the reflex block, but she gets deleted instantly, and so does Ringo. to the weapon power Vox. Here comes the Wolves just for the sake of getting the ace.
A little bit unnecessary, I would think. I think they could have done that. They had, 3 people with 3 gap closers.
Yep, I think he just wanted to guarantee that one. They can go and pick up another gold mine with 12 minutes. The Wolves are now a little bit confused about what to do. Going to jump on the turret.
Which I'm not doing much. So that's gonna be another gold mine for going towards Insomnia. I think they're definitely the team that are in the lead right now. They're playing very confidently. They've got very nice synergy, I think.
Yep, it's their game to throw now, I would say. Don't want to put any caster's curse on this, but they're definitely in the driving seat. There's 30 seconds for the attack of the pack to be up again. Fortress does have it on only 2 points into the ult right now. It needs to hit level 12 so he can get the best cooldown on it. But the Aftershock does help with that.
Yeah. I think one thing I'm going to say about Insomnia is that VVob, or I'm not even quite sure how to pronounce that, but VVob is getting caught out quite a bit.
Oh, would you say so?
Yeah, he's always the first I think he's been the first to go down. I think it's just because he's a little bit too close to Ringo is the main issue.
Yep, Ringo can put an immense amount of damage when he does get within the range of Vox. He's going to output more damage, but it looks like Vox is just benefiting from them being ahead in this game. So although Ringo does have naturally more damage with the inbuilt crit potential, Vox having more items is helping him win in those like one-on-one scenarios.
Yeah, we're going to start coming out onto the Koshka, and look, the silence and the double silence actually, dealing a lot of damage there onto the Koshka and to the Ringo. They've got the fountain came out, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save them. And Koshka does go down. Fury the whole time is taking a lot of damage. Fish the Cat is trying to die for Ringo. Manages to get the kill onto Ringo, but goes down himself to a turret in the process.
That was so unfortunate. I think the Achilles shot just held him in place of the double turret shots just there. They will get another turret off the back of this. So that's I'd say only one death. That's a very, very good team fight for Insomnia.
Yeah, I think it was worth it for Fish the Cat to die just to be able to secure that ace.
Yep. He is currently, well, they do have 3, 2, and 1 deaths consecutively between them. So he had to round that off and make it nice for us.
Yes. Very sorry, I quite like that. It's quite funny. So Team they're not in a very good position right now. They have that 1 turret left. It's 14 minutes. The Kraken is not out yet. They're really suffering with this early game aggressive comp.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They've got the early game comp and they have lost the early game. I don't have much hope for them. Fortress against Koshka, it can become such a snowball. If Fortress started to lose early game, the same way Koshka has, it would have been the flip side. There's just not much comeback potential for these bursty assassin heroes. They need to be the ones initiating fights, bursting down specific heroes.
We see the Hellfire Brew coming out there, but the Wolves are out, and they're just jumping straight onto Ringo, who's, actually dealing quite a lot of damage there onto Fish the Cat himself. I think he's actually going to finish the kill, and this leaves Arden the last one left alive, and I think this is going to be game for Insomnia.
Yep, unfortunately Ringo did die to the scout trap at the end. Catherine was the one picking up the kill, even though she was nowhere near him. Sharing is caring, I guess.
Yeah, so I think, 15 seconds left on the death timers for Team this is very much likely going to be a very short game for Insomnia. They're going to be able to finish that turret very, very quickly.
And I think that was a really good time to pay out from the 15-minute mark. Here comes Catherine to help them finish off the Vein Crystal, but that is GG. First game going to PRDX Insomnia.
Yes, and I think it'll be, the team that would do very well to fan out that Fortress again in the next game.
Definitely, we've seen many other teams doing it, and it seems to just even out the playing field and make it a little bit more about what teams used to play rather than this new meta.
Yes. So let's have a quick look at the builds here. So Fortress with that Aftershock going for that Broken Myth, that's actually a pretty standard build for the Crystal Fortress right now.
Yep, no surprises there. Double fountains on their team helping with the sustain. They had the silences on their side, which is probably what benefited them the most. They could burst down without the enemy team being able to use their fountains, and if that didn't work, they had their own 2 fountains to go back onto. Ringo on the enemy team, he did opt for a Bonesaw, which I'm really, really disappointed with. I think he would have been much better with some crit potential. Even just stick with the Blazing Salvo for now. He could have been outputting a lot more damage, especially since he wasn't being deleted instantly in teamfights. He was getting a few good shots off, and the only attack speed he really needed was about a Blazing Salvo and to deal with the Wolves. Bonesaw wasn't helping him an awful lot. The teamfights weren't long enough. The enemy didn't have any armor. So I'd pick that one out to be probably not the best choice out of all the items on the board right now.
Yes, so let's just jump into the second game now. Let's just kind of switch the sides around for the teams.
Apparently, I've just settled an argument for Tempest in his favor.
What was the argument?
He was like, see, even Denier thinks we should get crit instead of the Bonesaw. I mean, he needs attack speed, I'll give him that, but crit definitely needed in that build.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't think he needed that bone saw at all. You know, unless all three members of Paradox Insomnia were going for, you know, heavy armor. I think it was a bit necessary.
And there is your Fortress ban immediately into this second game.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't have recommended him trying to pick up that fortress themselves unless he had played it before. You know, even though it looks like, you know, he's very strong, it does take some kind of skill and understanding of his skills to play.
Definitely. You just see too many players going into these big tournaments thinking, oh, I've heard everywhere that he's the best. Like, everyone says he's unbeatable. No, he's only unbeatable in the right coordination of teams. He is a very, very strong hero, probably more stronger than he should be right now. Probably a little bit of balancing to come, but he's definitely not unbeatable. Koshka is such a strong counter to that, and here we're going to have Fish the Cat and Fury picking, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Koshka right now.
Yeah, well, you don't really want Ringo and Koshka together. I mean, they were fighting that last time, and they were able to beat it quite comfortably.
Yep.
But we're going to be seeing a Petal instead.
I am slightly confused.
You can tell from the confusion in Danir's voice here.
Fish the Cat seems to have picked Petal into only a Ringo so far. I mean, any sense on Team and they'll just go for another kiting crystal hero like a Celeste or something. Petal works best kiting melee heroes where they're trying to follow her through the seeds. So
it's not the best first pick that could have come out from Paradox there, and Paradox Insomnia there.
No, well, they do pick a Glaive into that, so I think the counter there isn't too strong. The Glaive into Catherine could work if he punts into Catherine's stun and then follows that up with the Twisted Stroke and some heavy weapon damage, but that means he himself needs to invest a lot into weapon items and have very little defense, opening him up to a very swift death to the spontaneous combustion. So,
well, what do you think we'll be seeing for the last pick? I mean, Petal is more commonly played in jungle than lane.
Yeah, definitely. Crystal Petal in the jungle is what I would expect. Maybe they'll go for Vox again, put him on the weapon, but there's actually going to be Black Feather, so I can see where they're coming from here, putting a Black Feather possibly in the lane, still to be seen. And then whenever Black Feather is having trouble, when he's diving the backline, being a nuisance in the middle of team fights, Petal can use her spontaneous combustion and heal him right up.
Yes, so let's jump into this game so far. So Crystal Ringo or double weapon? Or Crystal Glaive, which is unlikely.
I have seen a successful Crystal Glaive, but on the very rarest of occasions, his fully stacked Bloodsong with like Shatterglass or Frostburn behind it can deal immense amounts of damage, but not what I would expect in this fight. I think he needs to be going for some heavy weapon damage, like a Sorrow Blade and possibly some... I know I was raving about crit in the last game, but Sorrow Blade, and then he can maybe even go for a little bit of sustain, but he needs some attack speed in there for sure to try and delete Petal very quickly.
Yes. So, you know, it does appear that they are going double weapon, but Ringo could just be getting that weapon for last hits at this point in time. So it's difficult to say for sure whether they will be going for that double weapon, but I am quite critical of double weapon myself. I'm not a big fan of it, and I don't think it works that well.
Yeah, it's just too easily countered in the current meta, especially now that Breaking Point isn't as useful for long sustained fights. Someone's going to have to invest into a Bone Saw if they want to make this work.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with Aegis, I think it's easier to counter double weapon than it is to counter double crystal.
Yep, definitely. I'd say Broken Myth is just a little bit better since it ramps up the crystal damage, but that's just the small intricacies around your builds and what you decide to play for. But I really hope that Ringo does swap this out to become crystal or even hybrid, which could be a much better idea.
Yes, and you know, I think they're waiting for that gank right now. You know, Glaive doesn't really have the afterburn up for another 7 seconds, and I would not surprise me if we did see one coming out and they would land the kill onto Black Feather.
Yep. And here, 2 seconds, 1 second, I think here we go. Catherine's stun, afterburn followed by Catherine's stun is a very fast deletion with Ringo's damage followed up behind it.
Yeah, but the whole time Petal and Arden are in their jungle taking their farm. Was that such a good trade-off?
No, because if Team on the blue side this time had any common sense, they could have gone into the enemy jungle there and got camps of their own, and they're 2 teleports in sync just to get away from Catherine at the last second. That was so well timed.
That kind of feeling for Catherine, she just missed out there. A bit painful.
Yep, I think you're right. Here comes the crystal power behind Ringo now. He was just getting the weapon blades for a little bit of early poke damage and wave clear, which a lot of people feel more comfortable with if they need it for the lowest last hits.
Yes, I'm really relieved to see him going for those crystal bits. You know, don't like double weapon at all. So
Well, I have seen in the SEA, and not in this patch, but in a previous patch, where there was a tension bow followed by shatter glass, which worked quite well. So I was curious to see whether that would come out again.
yes, very interesting. Um, but Crystal Ringo, now, how does he have to play? He has to be played very differently from Weapon Ringo. So,
Well, it's probably a nightmare for Petal here because she wants to be able to kite away. She doesn't want to be burst down very quickly. If Catherine gets on top, sorry, Glaive Afterburn followed by Catherine stun gets on top of Petal, Ringo can easily burst her down with his combination of like his A Achilles shot doing a massive burst, and then if he needs to disengage, he can use the Hellfire Brew to finish someone off.
yes, and Viva there looking very, very low as he runs away, just getting away in time as he can finish up the kill onto Glaive there. And oh my gosh, look at the health and Fish the cat, thanks to that potion, just able to like survive for a little bit longer. Panhai is looking in a bit of a rocky position there, but they are able to get to secure the kill onto Arden as Fish the cat escapes.
Those were some of the lowest health bars I've seen all day. I mean, Vivov made it out with a sliver of health, decided to re-engage after he got his potion back, and then Fish the cat was the next target, made it out with a sliver of health itself. I'm going to call it because Petal's a she, Fish the cat could be a he behind that, the game, and then it's Petal, so it's an it.
Okay, I like your thinking there for that.
Well, it's made it out with a sliver of health in the end as well, through the bush, and it was really unfortunate that there weren't more kills going over to Team The, but they played it very, very well, only lost one hero, and even after that, they played very, very well around it.
Yes, so it's very even so far, but Vivov gets an afterburn and he is going to go down very, very quickly there. So I think that he just gets caught out constantly all the time thanks to this afterburn.
Yep, they're utilizing it perfectly. You see, quite often a lot of teams will pick the glaive and not use the gank potential to its fullest. As one of the main reasons you would choose glaive was to try and shut down the enemy laner because he's just so good at that repositioning.
Well, what I saw there from Blackfeather was when he died, he spent his money on more damage.
Well, he's got a bit more sustain. I don't know, did he have the Barb Needle before? Not 100% sure on that one, but once he hits level 6, he's going to be much less risk of ganks. He can use the Rose Fence to get out of there. So I think he's just going to be handing over a couple of kills near the start. Shouldn't be too much problem near the late game.
So we're seeing both two members from each team kind of hovering around in lane. The supports are just kind of dancing around each other, doing their flare game.
It's like a mirror right now. Both the junglers are we're in the back jungle. Both the supports were flaring each other's bush and walking at the same time. Both the laners were dancing around getting farm.
But even though it looks like Team The are kind of coming up a little better in the team fights, it's actually still very even here between the two teams.
Yeah, I would put it in favor of Team There right now. This Crystal Ringo is doing a lot of work. He's doing very, very well. I'm not sure whether he's going to have enough energy to sustain in the longer, like, poking kind of potential where, see, the big chunks come out onto Blackfeather, but because he has a Barb Needle, he's going to heal up, and it's just wasting Ringo's energy for when a team fight actually starts. He might need to invest into a battery fairly early on, and I think it looks like he'll be going for a Shatter Glass first, or I'd probably choose Shatterglass over Frostburn right now.
Yes, and we're seeing the members of Team there rotating down. Catherine, I think Catherine's been doing a very nice job with the vision. I actually think both teams have. Yeah,
well, you look at the map right now, you see scout traps from both sides all over the map. If you didn't know which side each team was on, you wouldn't know by the scout traps, put it that way.
Yeah, they're a bit all over the place right now. It's difficult to say. I'm surprised nobody set them off yet from other teams. So they're going to be going on to the tarp. But I think they're going to have the back off with all three members, and the stun's coming out into Vivov. And it looks like he is going to be dying thanks to the afterburn. Fish the cat really can't do that much right now, taking a bit of damage there. Dealing quite a little bit of damage there onto the glaive there, to be honest.
Yeah, you see the killing potential of Petal. As soon as she's got her max range on someone, even if she just got them targeted, she doesn't need to be putting out the basic attacks. Just keep the minions on somebody, and they'll be doing enough damage to sustain her through. Even against Catherine, who's the minions managed to do the damage underneath the bubble, Petal will be doing a heck of a lot of work.
Yeah, Petals, I think she'd be going for that Frostburn first. Frostburn kind of the most common first item to get on a Petal over Shatterglass.
Yep, I think Frostburn and possibly either a Broken Myth or a situationally more dependent item would be better. Ringo has finished Shatterglass, I didn't notice that. Looks like Glaive's going for a Tension Bow for the burst potential onto Petal. She's obviously very, very squishy and needs to invest a lot into damage, but Glaive's just going to face check this bush and pay the price for it. He goes down very, very low, and with the minions on top of him, oh, Petal doesn't decide to continue that, what with the invisible bush.
The invisible boost, yeah. And also Ringo is there now. It's also probably a very good decision to back off there. I think this is a much slower game than we're seeing from last time.
Yeah, both teams. It just seems like they're playing a little bit smarter, knowing when they've got advantages and when they don't. Um, Throughout this tournament, you'll see teams who just think, "Oh, there's an enemy hero. I'm going to jump on him," and it works sometimes because if you have the burst potential, then it quickly becomes a 3v2, and your positioning doesn't matter as much. But with this, the teams know they've been looking at the health bars when the heroes appear on the screen, like keeping track of where everybody is and knowing that, oh wait, Ringo disappeared from lane. I can't go and invade and finish off this kill. So it's much smarter team play right now, I'd say.
Yeah, and that gold mine is looking very full, and I think there will be a big fight for it soon.
Yeah, definitely. It's filling up in the next few seconds. Whoever gets it will get the 300 gold payout. And if there's an ace, that could be a turret as well.
Yeah, and I think everything just depends on this next team fight because I think that next team fight just will dictate how this is going to go.
Yep, you can see that Catherine has been prioritizing the vision of their side, making sure that it's locked down. There's a whole line of scout traps to protect them there, and she's now invading into the enemy side to try and establish some vision onto theirs as well.
Yeah, but actually nobody's actually she is right in the front, but nobody's trying to do any damage on her. The gauntlet comes down. Very defensive gauntlet, not actually catching anyone in, and Fury's just taking a lot of damage in return for that.
Yeah, but both supports just wasting their ultimates there. The silence did catch all three, so Catherine gets some stacks from it, I guess. But the gauntlet as well, completely wasted. I think if it was in a defensive maneuver, it was worked well, but I think he was trying to catch the Catherine out, but she was just turning back at the wrong time.
So I just want to point out one thing. So over in the lane, Panha on that Ringo has 79, a creep score of 79, and Vvob 56. He is lagging a little bit behind.
Yeah, it's very opposite to what I saw earlier in today with the lane Blackfeather managing to sustain so well in lane that he got almost every single one of the creeps. Against the Ringo, he could poke away and prevent Ringo from getting anything, and it looks like Petal is the one that's been caught out right now. There's a spontaneous combustion catching out Rios, but here's the Hellfire Brew from Ringo.
And it does a lot of damage there to her. You know, she's very low position. She's still on fire. I'm actually not sure if she's going to make it out and she's going to go down.
And that was really well timed from Ringo. I think it was the last tick or two of damage. Glaive did very, very well at finding the out of position hero. Ringo is going to be trying to push back this Arden while his teammates secure the gold mine. But this is a very, very dangerous situation, what with Blackfeather joining as well. Goes over in favor of the blue team and Team The, and it looks like they're going to get another kill or two on the back of this. Blackfeather using Rose Fensive to escape, but there's the Achilles shot taking a massive chunk of health off of him, and there's the second Rose Fence, but Glaive's coming up from underneath with the tension bow proc and afterburn to finish the kill.
You know, it would not surprise me if we saw a third game, another third game. The third of today, actually.
My voice, I don't know if my voice can take another third game, but I've had so much fun so far. These teams have been very closely matched. You can tell it's getting later on in the tournament. Glaive's taking a lot of damage from Petal right now, and I think she's got the Frostburn, so he's having a lot of trouble escaping. Catherine taking a couple of turret shots, and it's just Petal holding off all three members right now.
It didn't work, and it's... Yeah, so I think Blackfeather's problem is he hasn't scaled up properly. He's focused on getting journey boots.
Well, that's probably a good decision right now. He almost made it out of the tier 3, maybe not the right choice. He almost made it out of that last fight. If they'd stolen the gold mine, that would have been a very good play, but they just handed over a lot of extra gold. It was definitely worth the effort to try, but Glaive was on top of it, managed to, I'm not sure whether it was the tangible proc or just a combination of his skills that he managed to secure it with.
Yeah, Fury doing a good job of just undoing Catherine's hard work with the vision, staying off all the mines on that he can see on their side. But however, he is at risk of being caught out there, as he's right beside the Glaive and the Catherine.
But Catherine, even though she has apparently been putting down more vision, she has finished her fountain before Arden. She doesn't have the Stormguard banner, which is probably why. Does have a reflex block, which I'm not 100% sure of. She hopefully be building that up to a crucible for her teammates. Yep, there's the Dragon Heart, which is the other half of that. So there'll be a Crucible coming in soon. There's the Flare. There's a lot of Petal Seeds right now. But Catherine just walks straight in there. I think she stunned a Munyon.
Yeah, the Gauntlet's coming out, but Glaive does, not Glaive, Arden does go down, fish the cat at very high risk, using the trampoline to try and get away from that Glaive, kiting away. I don't think they're going to get the kill on it. They are going to get the kill, but Vvob is going to be the one to go down. And, you know, I think he's actually in a pretty safe position. Ringo's already used his Hellfire Brew, you know, she just has to teleport back home and just give up that turret.
Yep, I was so surprised to see Fish the Cat escaping with a sliver of health again. It was like that team fight very early on in the game. Fish the Cat was the first one to be targeted, but somehow made it out at the end with a tiny amount of health. She's prioritized quite a lot of defense for a Petal so far. There's a reflex block and a tier 2 armor, so she knows that she's at high risk of being afterburned by the glaive.
I've got to say, I'm very impressed with the glaive play so far. I think he's been doing a lot behind the scenes. He's setting up a lot of plays for the Ringo.
Yep, he's definitely putting himself really out there up front, tanking a lot of the damage, even for Catherine. Catherine is being an absolute nuisance, so she takes a lot of damage before fights break out, but then Glaive comes in, takes the attention off of her onto himself. So it means that the team as a whole are juggling the damage of the enemies a lot better.
Yeah, and I've just got to say, look at Blackfeather. He's not prioritizing damage, and he's got a Shiver Steel at this point.
Oh, wow. He's definitely not got a very enough damage right now. I'd say the Barb Needle and only a Swift Shooter, he's not going to be doing enough in team fights. His only damage right now is going to be from the detonation of his A ability.
Yeah, he's just prioritizing a lot on defense right now. I'm just getting a feeling that he's not that comfortable on that Blackfeather.
Yeah, I think against the Glaive as well, they're both quite bruiser melee heroes. I know Blackfeather's meant to be more of an assassin, but
she's not played that way though.
Especially with this build, that is not an assassin build. That's not even a bruiser build because he doesn't have even the Serpent's Mask items ready. He doesn't have a Heavy Steel, for example. Just boots and a Shiver Steel. He's not having anyone to chase down.
Yep, and it looks like that gold miner is going to be going towards Team The, just increasing that gold difference a little bit more, so it's now at 4k ahead for Team The.
Yep, so far it's just all going in their favor right now. It looks like we will be going to a third match if it continues this way. And you just got to put it down to where have things gone wrong so far. I mean, it seemed like Insomnia were the ones in the driving seat before. I'm not sure the Petal pick was the right choice in this match. I know we picked away at Blackfeather's build, but there could be other reasons.
I feel like the lane Blackfeather is really struggling against the Ringo though.
Yep, his farm is suffering a little bit, but not as much as it could. He's 40 behind, but being that melee hero, he doesn't need it as much. I just think he should have invested a bit more into damage. He's got 2 tier 2 defensive items plus the Shiver Steel, and there's a fight breaking out at the shop right now. There comes the Gauntlet.
Yeah, and the sounds coming out, silencing Bebop and Fury, but it looks like they might actually be able to pick up the kill, but the whole time Panha is onto the Pestle, and she's dealing a lot of damage, but he is going to go down, but not before the finish of Pestle. Things are actually looking very good for InsomniaX, with seeing the Afterburn coming out, but it looks like Glaive is just going to get away. Bebop just does not have the damage to do anything right now.
Yep, I think that was more about Petal's work before dying there. Ringo and Petal seem to be the 2 sacrificial lambs, while Blackfeather and Glaive just worked their way through the team fight. But both of them made out fairly healthy. There wasn't too much risk of anyone being burst down at the end there.
Yes, and you know that...
Just shows good prioritization of targets from both teams.
Yeah, I think they just really need to focus on the Ringo. If they can get to Ringo, I think it's going to be very good for them.
But likewise, Ringo, if he can get to Petal, which is exactly what he's been doing, he sacrificed himself just making sure he put out all of his damage onto Petal.
Yes, and Fury putting some vision onto that crack in there.
Yep, looks like Ringo still has Hellfire Brew up as well, so they are ready for another engage. Petal is getting Spontaneous Combustion back in 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds. Sorry, that was very fast. I looked at it as I started speaking, so...
Yes, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see another team fight breaking out very soon. You know, see some more pushing from either of the teams right now, maybe even a Kraken attempt. Yep,
stakes are getting much higher for these team fights soon. We only saw 2 casualties last time, 1 on each side, so no one really got much advantage off of that.
But the team there are infused right now. We've won infusion each on Glaive and Ringo. This isn't a good fight, to be honest, right now for Insomnia.
Yep, I think Team there definitely need to engage their fight a little bit better than they did last time. The Gauntlet caught them a little bit by surprise, and Ringo didn't get his Hellfire Brew off, and Arden was stunned there out of the Gauntlet.
Yeah, and Bebop is right at the very back, and look at that Hellfire Brew damage coming onto Fish the Cat. The Spontaneous Combustion actually healing up his teammates very, very well, and I think that was very nicely done by Fish the Cat.
Yeah, but they've used everything right now. They've used their fountain, they've used Spontaneous Combustion. Petal is on her way home. Here comes a minion wave in favor of the blue team, so they might be able to push down a turret, but it looks like they're just going to pull back and try and start the Kraken, which I'm not sure that's the right decision. if Insomnia knew anything about this, they would be in there and be able to kill them and steal that.
Yeah, but they're getting absolutely no challenge here from InsomniaX whatsoever. And it looks like it's going to be a free Kraken going towards Team The. You know, we can see Petal hovering there, knowing it's there, but I think she just doesn't really want to go in 1v3.
Yep, I think Arden didn't really need to take a trip home. They're just, unless they plan on just taking this Kraken for a free 500 gold, there wasn't the best decision. And it looks like Blackfeather has finished a Pauldrons, and he still has the only offensive item he's finished since our last discussion of this was a Blazing Salvo upgrade from Swiftshooter. He's just relying on his weapon fusion and the detonation of his A ability to get him through these fights.
That Kraken is left pushing towards the towers. I don't know if they can take that down that fast. You know, Petal's actually quite good at taking out the Kraken.
Yep, I would say that's a very good choice from the team there to go for the Kraken, because they notice that Blackfeather doesn't have a lot, but Arden taking the full Hellfire Brew and chunking his health down.
You know, Glaive is going to go down in return, but Vbob is not looking in a very good position. Neither is Fish the Cat. He has absolutely no energy or sunshine whatsoever to finish it off. And that Kraken is still, you know, more than half health. I don't think they can really do much. And I don't think he has any minions. No, he has one minion left.
Well, what I was saying about Blackfeather is that he doesn't have enough damage to deal with the Kraken. There's the Pauldrons, but it might have been blocked. I can't quite tell. And it looks like Vbob caught out with the two-on-one. Kraken is still on the turrets with half of its health remaining. They've managed to get 2 turrets off the back of this. That's 600 gold each. And it's probably going to get a third now, and maybe even start on the 4th. So this is one of the most gold-efficient Krakens we've seen.
Yep, but still, Team There are only like 5k, 6k ahead in gold.
Only? That's quite a substantial
lead.
lead.
That they're staying at 4k and they just got like 4 turrets. I think they're actually doing all right. You know, Insomnia have been picking up 1 kill here and there.
Yep, I do like that Glaive is going to be finishing a Fountain of Renewal soon. A couple of more minions from his jungle will see that through, and they definitely need it against this Petal with the extra spontaneous combustion heal.
Yep, and we're seeing Fury picking up a contraption, so you usually see a Warhorn more often on a Arden. So why do you think you've gone for a contraption this time?
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe just being caught out by that Kraken pick, he's like, oh, I need more vision.
Oh, he definitely does. And it looks like Vbob has actually managed to finish a tier 3 item, getting that breaking point.
3v2 breaking out right now. It looks like Glaive has been able to jump onto Fish the Cat, but the Vanguard from Arden managing to save her. A lot of health still, and Rioz is still on the back line. But there's the spontaneous combustion. Fish the Cat just making it out, and it looks like meanwhile, Vbob standing on a scout trap, it dies.
Yeah, Fish the Cat trying his best to cat away onto that Glaive. And Fish the Cat taking a lot of damage there from Catherine. I don't know if Catherine can finish this off. I don't even know.
The support against the carry fights are ongoing, and they're Arden picks up the kill on Glaive, and Catherine picks up the kill on Petal. Yeah. So it's a 2 for 2 with both supports getting a kill.
We could be very well seeing a very tedious 1v1 between the two supports right now, as we're seeing Fury bashing away onto Catherine, who has very little energy at this point.
Yep, they both have contraptions right now as well. So Catherine is just trying to put down a bit of vision, clear out whatever Arden has put down. She's got her Merciless Pursuit up. I don't think she's going to be at too much trouble of getting caught out right now.
And I'm sure there's nothing more than we love than seeing a 1v1 between 2 supports.
I wish they just had a showdown in the middle in front of Kraken. that would decide the game right there.
That would be great. So, you know, I think it's actually looking up for Insomnia. I mean, they may only have 1 tower left, but they're actually managing to pick up some kills now.
Yep, that team fight didn't go too badly. I'd say all the team fights haven't been so bad. They've had 1 or 2 where they've had a really rough time and lost a lot of turrets on the back of it. That Kraken pickup, which I thought was still a big mistake that they gave it away so easily, definitely turned the game around for them. 3 turrets for that was just a little bit too much, and I think Blackfeather finishing a breaking point right now might become a bit of a nuisance with all that defense.
I've seen this happen a lot. Breaking point being bought first on a Blackfeather.
It's not first, it's after 3 tier 3 defensive items.
As an offensive item, yes.
Well, it's only offensive item.
So it looks like we kind of saw another fight breaking out. Shadow taking a little bit of damage, but the Hellfire Brew comes out and the Fish the Cat. Look at that insane amount of damage there. I think a very nice bounce and just managing to save Fish the Cat there. And Panha on that Ringo is looking a little bit logging, a bit of harassment there from that Blackfeather. And look at the damage he's taking. He's using that Rose offense to try and get near him, but he is not going to make it, and he is going to go down. However, Arden is now the only one left alive, and that's going to be an ace for Team The.
Glaive was doing so much work. Meanwhile, Blackfeather was on top of Ringo for so long. But like we were saying, just 0 damage. He couldn't do anything to him. All Ringo had to do was wait for his cooldown to come back. Achilles shot into Achilles shot with twirling silver in between. Like, he was just doing so much more damage than Blackfeather.
Yep, and that is going to be the second game going towards Team This. So this is the second game. We saw the first game, Insomnia take a very commanding first game, and this time it looks like we're going to be seeing a third game matchup.
Yeah, that was a it's been very, very close so far. Both supports doing very, very well in the Vision game, I would say. Catherine having a perfect game with 0 deaths, though.
Very nicely played by her.
Yep. We see very, very similar builds from them. Catherine finished a very early Crucible, which was working out quite well. Pauldrons on both sides. There's 3 Pauldrons actually on the side of Insomnia, 1 on each carry. So I think that was mainly because they knew Glaive was going to be on top of them. So Blackfeather would be using his when he dove Ringo, trying to stick to Ringo and get the Pauldrons off. But it was Ringo's Achilles shot that was doing the most damage to him. So maybe not the right decision there.
Yeah, maybe not. So let's just kind of go into the third game. You know, we've been overrunning a lot, and we've seen so many third games.
Yep, the third time today out of 4 matches. You can just, like I was saying, you can just tell that the caliber of play right now has gone up a notch.
So let's see if there's going to be any roster changes. So what can we expect from a blind pick game? Crystal Fortress?
Well, yeah, you've seen those bands. They're very, very regular. You've got the Sky bands and the Fortress bands. So every time there's a blind pick, that's exactly what you tend to see. You see Koshka Fortress, or you see like Adagio with Fortress, or Sky with Arden, things like this, where the teams have usually used these in like public queues, but they don't get the chance when there's draft.
Okay, so we can't really discuss what they're picking for, but I think this is going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, it's just my bet is on whether a team would go for the Koshka or the Fortress in the jungle. Obviously, like I said, Sky is another option. She can fend off the invades, and if she gets an upper hand, can do so much work as well. As for the lane, with those crystal junglers, you're going to see Weapon Power Vox or Weapon Power Ringo, and we saw in the second game of the day that it was Vox was the choice, but Ringo was probably better. And here we go, the teams have picked, and we're into this third match decider. It's Ringo Fortress Catherine against Arden Sky Ringo.
Wow, so it looks like Crystal Fortress is back for InsomniaX, and it worked very well for them in the first game. Yes, so Ringo and Sky combo, what do you think about that for Team The?
I do like picking up the Sky. She's banned out so often, but can be such a deciding factor in these games. Everyone forgets how difficult it is to play against the Sky. You have so much trouble locking her down. She has the most mobility in the game, and well, I'm not sure about picking her into this Fortress meta though, because she's not going to be able to deal with the wolves. The forward barrage gets blocked by them, so as soon as Fortress hits level 6, they're going to be able to engage onto Sky and burst her down pretty quickly without taking much damage in return.
Yes, you know, like you said, the forward barrage doesn't really do much. So I think, you know, I think Sky is actually still going to win against the Fortress in the early game. Fish to Catch is just be a little bit more cautious.
Who would you put your money on so far?
I think InsomniaX.
Really? With the Fortress on their side?
Yes.
Well, there we go. Fish the Cat is diving onto Sky, who put herself right in front of Ringo, but Ringo seems to be prioritizing taking out the other Ringo, and all the members of Insomnia are very low right now, and there's an ace, a very early game ace.
And a triple kill for Sky.
That was a very, very well played out team fight. Rioz used the Suri strike to reposition herself, but like she used it to damage Fortress and put herself in the middle of the fight, back with Ringo and Arden. Put herself in the front of the enemy Ringo, but he was just so focused, knowing that if he lost Ringo versus Ringo, then that was the fight lost. So it was all a case of like laner versus laner, jungler versus jungler, and it seems like Fortress Sky just came out on top there.
Yeah. Looks like we might be seeing another team fight breaking out right now. So Fish the Cat, he's really suffering in farm. He's only got 2 so far against Rioz. Rioz is 12.
Wow, I think that was just the problem of skipping the back 2 camps again. I'm not sure of their rotations here. They seem to have maybe had success with it previously, but it's not been working in these games we've saw.
Yeah, I actually think they should just be trying to get all their farm. Just teleport back to the shop.
Yep.
And maybe pick up some flares so they do know where they are.
See, Fortress, the problem is with a Koshka, you're fine because you've got strength from the very, very beginning. Level 1, level 2, Koshka is incredible. But Fortress, he needs some allies around with that bleed for it to be very strong. He can't hold his own in those 2v2s. So Sky's going to be winning every single one of those jungle engages.
Yes, and we saw kind of Fortress kind of struggling a little bit to try and get his back camps there, as Fury is sticking very closely to VVob.
Yep, Fury doing very, very well at the Vision game. Again, it looks like both supports are, like I said last game, they're prioritizing having map control. And with Rios and coming down onto Fish the Cat, almost catching him out, but Fury manages to rotate back. Pana on the Ringo was coming down to help as well, so that was very good rotations from them.
Yeah, we do see Fortress teleporting back, and he is sitting on a hub of gold. He's got that Eclipse Prism now, going for that aftershock. So I don't know. I think Rios is definitely coming out on top here. He's level 4 compared to Fish's level 3.
Like I said, it's just that Fortress is better in the team fights, but Sky is better in those 1v1, 2v2 situations where they're going to be skirmishing in the jungle. So Fish the Cat just needs to not engage in any of these fights, farm up their back camps as safely as possible. Vision will be very, very important, but with Shadow and Rios already getting some successful invades down without before even the 4-minute mark, that's going to be very, very tough for them.
Yeah, it's gonna. Well, so far everything seems to be going for Team This side. There are 3 kills up. They got that ridiculous ace at 1 minute 20.
Yep. That's the only kills of the game so far, though. But one thing I would say is, I do think Fortress will synergize better with Ringo. Sky will have to put herself really up front in the mix of things if she wants to be diving Ringo the same way that Fortress can. Fortress Ringo will be able to burst down either the Sky or the enemy Ringo, whereas the same burst potential is going to need to be more coordinated from the red team.
Yeah, and I think Fish the Cat is also struggling a little bit in the jungle. He's still sitting at 13 farm compared to Rios' 30. Where's she getting that farm from?
Like I said, there's been some successful invades already doubling the enemy jungler. I mean, that's very, very strong right now. Both Ringos are doing very well. 44 farm apiece, 43 to 45 now, sorry. And they're both sticking to that 10 CS per minute mark.
Very well, actually. So it looks like Arden is actually going to be trying to steal that healing minion off, but Fish the Cat has his eye on him, and they're going to be jumping onto him. This could be a kill going towards Insomnia, but Sky is now here being in a massive bother, but it looks like she is actually going to be going down, even though Fish the Cat does get stunned on that death from above. So Viva running from Panha, but Fish the Cat gets there just in time, and they're able to pick up the kill there. So D-Pros is now probably going to finishing off the kill onto Fortresses, so we're seeing another 1v1 support situation.
These supports just like, oh, stop killing my carries. Just like, I want to be with just you. But I think Pana, if he'd committed much more into that fight, he came in a little bit too late, but both of the enemy carries were in pretty bad positions, very open to being burst down with a few shots from a very strong Ringo. He had a very strong build at the time, and I just think he could have cleaned up much better if he hadn't been so cautious.
Yeah, so we saw Insomnia actually picking up some kills there. They're able to pick up 2 kills. Do you think it's going to be going for a little more in their favor now that Fish the Cat is level 6?
They can definitely get a good team fight and try and turn it around in their favor. Momentum isn't on their side, and with Fortress being invaded right now, Fish the Cat is not having a very good time farm-wise.
Yeah, he's not getting much support there from his cat support there, is he?
No, Fury is very low as well, so anything that happens now, he is at high risk of going down. And with a scout trap spotting all 3 of them, it looks like they're going to be caught out, and Sky is the first one to face the bush, and there's the wolf pack coming out.
Yeah, Fish the Cat is just jumping onto Rios, but the death from above, where are his wolves? And Fish the Cat taking a lot of damage there from that forward barrage, but Ringo is able to finish off that Catherine, and looks like they're going to be finishing off the Sky as well.
Hellfire Brew from Pana does get Viva down very, very low.
Why did he aggro that minion, mate?
Oh my gosh, the minion miner aggroed by Vivob kills himself. And that was a very good Hellfire Brew from Pana to turn the team fight around there.
Yes. So 2 for 2 trade there from both teams. I think, it's going all right for Insomnia. A bit of a silly move from Viva. I'm not sure what his reasoning was to try and kill himself.
Well, from Rios being caught out face checking a bush with all 3 members of Insomnia in there to them turning that fight around. I think that went pretty well. Her forward barrage was partially blocked by one of the wolf pack though, so he used that I'd say Fish the Cat used that really really well for the chase.
Yeah, I think maybe we should be seeing a little bit more of like everybody focusing on one hero rather than they all going for different heroes, because I think that's what's causing Insomnia to lose in these team fights.
Definitely. I mean, Ringo was nowhere to be seen while Fish the Cat was chasing down Sky. He was caught out by the death from above, which was unfortunate, but he just spent far too long in the shop and didn't even know what was going on until far too late.
Yeah, look at the damage dealing Vivob's dealing onto Panha over there.
And here's Rios and Shadow coming in to join the fight though. Rios putting a forward barrage down onto Vivob and doing a lot of damage immediately. Fury is also very, very low, and Panha picking up the kill there.
Yes, so we're going to have to see Ringo teleporting back. So Fortress is now the only one left there to fend for that tower. But I do believe that team, though, will be going for that gold mine instead, which is full.
Yeah, Fish the Cat does not have the best wave clear right now. Going to be stuck in the lane while a team that managed to cap that gold mine. It's a 300 gold payout going in their favor.
That would be very complimentary for Shadow. Look at that vision being placed down by him.
Yep, same as last game. I wouldn't be surprised if he does go for a Stormguard banner, possibly into a contraption again, because he's putting a lot of gold into this vision right now, and it could all go to waste if they start losing their positioning.
Yeah, I think he's doing very well. He's keeping, he's giving his team good vision, and they know if Insomnia is going to be invading in.
And again, Arden has prioritized going for the fountain earlier rather than the Stormguard banner, so now they have that in the team fights over the enemy team, because Catherine still only has the components with her Stormguard, whereas Arden chose not to go for the Stormguard, and he is still putting out a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Fortress has actually managed to catch up on farm now. He's like 42 to 59. It's not, the difference is not as bad as it was.
Yep, it's probably maintained consistently throughout more than anything.
Yeah, bit of a 3v2 situation as we're seeing Rios trying to get away from that as fast as possible. The forward barrage is coming out. Fury taking a lot of damage there, and the wolves are released. Look at the Hellfire Brewer and the wolves. So they're going to be jumping straight onto that Sky, but nobody is with Fish the Cat. They're just trying to finish off that Ringo at this point. Theory is going to go down, but the two carries from Insomnia are left, and Bob is trying his best to try and hit through the wall, and he's able to pick up the kill onto... I'm not even sure if he's going to do it, to be honest.
I think he's a little bit too scared. He knows that the enemy are very, very low, but if he gets caught out in any kind of 2v1, he will go down to a 4 barrage without much mobility. There's the flare coming out from Arden, and they are now teaming up. And I think if Rios comes through the wall right now, there's the gauntlet from Arden, but Ringo...
Oh no! He's not able to get the kill on Shadow. Shadow just escaping.
The mint
and
scout
the
trap
going to save him thanks to that healing coming out from killing that minion.
Wow, those Ringo ults crossing at the start of the team fight though, that was so cool. That timing, I couldn't have done that more coordinated.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. But I think the problem again was that you're just seeing Fish the Cat jumping onto Sky, and Ringo's just doing something else entirely. There's not much team focus there. It's a bit...
Yeah, I know. I'm slightly disappointed. Ringo ended up... Vivob, was it? They ended up being the last one left alive, could have finished off both of the enemies, but he decided to chase down Arden, was just on the wrong side of everything the whole time. I think the target focus, like you said, needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, they're doing so well in the first game when they did play this comp as well. I'm a little bit unsure of how it's changed so much.
Yeah, maybe it's just depends what the enemy are playing right now. Obviously, Sky into Catherine is working out in their favor. Rios is managing to push back Fury every time. That's definitely one thing that's going in their favor, I'd say. And looking at Panha's build again, he has gone for the bone saw, and
there's no armor on Insomnia's side.
Yeah, he can do just as well with a tornado trigger, unless he's planning on this game going really long and betting that the enemy will go for armor. There's just not much need for that.
Well, the wolves have been released and they're just focusing very nicely there onto Sky, but actually they're not going to just get Sky, and Sky is going to survive, it looks like, with a very nice Vanguard there coming out from Arden. They're able to finish with the kill on Ringo and Arden, and I don't know how Sky did. Was it to the wolves?
Yep, it was to the wolves. Both Ringo and Sky having too much damage from the wolves to continue into that fight, and it looks like Fish the Cat was the MVP there, turning around the first team fight in their favor, like without a doubt.
Well done, Fish. So it looks like they actually might be able to get the turret at this point. There's no chance Fish the Cat can solo that gold at any point, but that turret is looking very low, and the first turret of the game is going towards Insomnia.
Shingy's favorite cat managing to pull a team fight. But like I was saying, I think this game is slowly slipping away from Team The. with the Ringo builds being different, with Vivop going for crit in place of that Bonesaw, it's just going to be slowly tipping in his favor in team fights. He's going to be able to delete enemies much faster.
Yes, and I just don't really know. I just keep questioning that Bonesaw.
Positioning and length of fights are going to become critical for this. If Pana can have a longer team fight, he will be outputting more damage. He will be getting some more crit himself very soon, I imagine. But it looks like they're starting the gold mine. Insomnia are coming down. Here comes Fury with the boots, but that's a little bit too late, and 300 gold in favor. And there comes the gauntlet, followed by the attack of the pack.
Look at the Viva 1v1 versus the Ringo, and look how fast he goes down. Rios is trying his best to finish those wolves, but he cannot do much. And this looks like it's going to be an ace for Insomnia. And I really think Insomnia are getting into the swing of things now. They're actually reaching their spike, their power spike now.
Yep, giving away the gold mine, not the best idea, but getting an ace off the back of it and probably a turret, it's
very nice trade-off.
I'd say that's a worthy trade-off, but it was a little bit unnecessary that they had to give away the gold mine to get that. They're going to be winning team fights right now. Like you were saying, that crit, the 1v1 Ringo on Ringo, Vivob's winning every time because there's no armor on either side.
I mean, he does have that attack speed, but it's not. So does Vivob.
Yep, there's not any benefit to the extra attack speed because Vivob has the Blazing Salvo. They both have their A abilities maxed out, so they're not getting extra from Twirling Silver. They are identical, apart from Bonesaw instead of Tyrant's Monocle.
Yeah. And now that Catherine has that contraption, she's going to be laying down a lot more vision. So I think, we've seen that Shadow, all his good work from before is now gone.
Yep, like we were saying, he invested so much early game, and he's slightly behind in items now, possibly. I'm just trying to work that out, sorry. So there's the contraption, the tier 2 boots, and the fountain against fountain, crucible, and tier 1 boots. So I do think Catherine is slightly ahead in items right now. Both of them picking up some tier 2 armor now as well.
Yep. And in some, team there are 2 turrets down at this stage. It's a 14 minutes. They should be going for the gold mine, It's going to be 50 minutes. That Kraken is going to be out soon. But it looks like they're actually going to be pushing ahead for the fight. We're seeing Fury using his boots, trying to land the stun there, but actually missing everyone. But Rio's suffering a lot of damage. And look at the wolves, they are now out. And look at the Hellfire Brewer, probably going to be finishing off that Rios, especially with the wolves there. Fish lunging straight onto Panhand there. And I think they're going to finish off the kill there.
Yep, that's definitely... Oh, unlucky for Skye. She goes down at the back of that as well from the burn damage. The gauntlet from Arden trapping Fury in just beside the base of Team The. But another turret goes down. Vivob and Fish the Cat both surviving through that. Shadow's the only one left alive.
Yes, so it's now 13 for 13. Insomnia are definitely catching up on everything now, and they are now the ones in the lead. They are 3k ahead.
Yep, things have definitely turned in their favor. I just think that Ringo managing to catch out Skye and getting that single target damage down before the fight even kicked off was very critical. Then Fortress knew, we've got the upper hand, I'm going to release the pack and we will close this out and get another turret off of it at least. There was some very deep diving there. They could have been punished for it, but they had really good focus. Caught both kills off it, which was slightly lucky thanks to the tick damage of Hellfire Brew. Another team fight breaking out.
The wolves are released. Panhand, look at his health going down. Rios is the only one left alive, and he cannot do much against this team. And Shadows again is now the only one left alive. Those wolves are slowing him down, and this is going to be another ace going towards Insomnia.
I have something to point out to you. That team fight, how long do you think it lasted before Arden started running away?
3 seconds.
Ringo had 20 breaking point stacks. 20 from the kill on Pana, the enemy Ringo, and the damage on Skye. He was sitting on 20 breaking point stacks.
And they're going to be going for the Kraken now. Things are not looking good for a team there. They had such a promising second game, but I just don't know if they can do anything against this.
Build crit.
Well, I think Ringo. We can see Ringo is trying, but maybe it's a little bit too late.
I told him 2 games ago. He has no excuse.
He's not been listening. But look at the infusions coming out from both sides.
Yep. Oh my gosh, that time limit of infusions. That was 7 infusions being popped across the board. There is 6 on the side of Team The and 4 on the side of Insomnia. Catherine opting not to go for one. She has a crystal infusion in her inventory, ready to go. But with this Kraken pounding down the lane, no attempt from Team The to force it back or get any kills before it arrives.
And those wolves are out. They're ready. You know.
Yep, all skills are up. Everything is good to go. There's going to be a big team fight unless team that can deal with this Kraken.
Well, that Fire Blade coming out, landing onto Rios, taking a little bit of damage there. I think they tried to block it, but and it did work actually. But that turret first start is going to go down. The gauntlet lands, and the wolves are out. And look at the damage that Panha is taking from Fish the Cat, and he is not going to make it back into his base. Neither is Shadow. Rios is trying to do his best, but that Kraken is now on the crystal, and it looks like this could very well be game 4 Insomnia, and that's the crystal.
Yep, that is GG. Such a strong showing. Congratulations to both teams. They definitely deserve to be here. I think they are two of the strongest teams we saw. Both would have deserved to be in the next round. Third game, though, going over to Insomnia. 17 kills to 13. A very good comeback. And wow, that was a very good end to the stream, I'd say.
Well, I think the problem was, you know, the team that they were ahead in the third game. They were doing, Sky was doing a lot. She was just invading into the Insomnia's jungle. But the problem was Panha went for Bonesaw.
I don't want to pin it on one thing. Like, it was over 50% of the problem, but
I think it just allowed the VVOB to kind of take over.
Any team fight that broke out, regardless of if Fortress had his wolves, regardless if Sky had got the upper hand and forward bridged Catherine to death already, it came down to that VVOB against Panha 1v1, and the crit was just wiping out Panha and instantly.
Yeah, and also the thing was, Insomnia, they had 2 fountains on their team as well. Just giving them that extra sustain as well.
Double fountains are a very strong choice. Unless there's anything you want to point out, I think we're going to round that off for today. It was a very, very long stream. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. Thanks for coming to watch. Those were some very good games. Tomorrow we'll be back with the quarterfinals. Yep, you'll see some of these teams we saw today back in the next round.
Yep, so, you know, this is the quarterfinals are the top 8 teams that are left in the matchups now, and I think the schedule has now been released for some of the matches. So we will be seeing Infamous Spectre versus Mega Empire and Infamous Legion versus Victoria's Secret. The other teams that are left now in the quarterfinals are Infamous Stigma and Hunter's Ace. So look at all 3 Infamous teams in there. All
3 Infamous teams will be here in the next round tomorrow, and you've got Hunter's Ace, Victoria's Secret, Mega Empire, who you saw playing today as well, InsomniaX, who you just saw playing in that last match. They will be here.
And I have the feeling there was a game that's currently being played out between Revival Esports and 99, with most people, I think, rooting for Revival Esports. So we'll be likely seeing them tomorrow as well.
Yep, they are the #1 seed in their bracket, the only team to get a #1 seed outside of the infamous family. So it will be very, very interesting tomorrow to see all the #1 seeds playing. I can't wait for it. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed all the games from today.
Yep, that's us for today. We'll see you tomorrow.